During these 7 haftarot from Tisha B'av until Rosh Hashanah, they are known as the 7 haftarot of nechama, of console, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu appeases us from the time of the Churban Beis HaMikdash. We went through a hard time understanding the tremendous amount of Yisurim, and now we finally get a consolation. If you go through each of the haftarot, there are different people who are coming to console us, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe. There are different types of consolations, but the final one is Hashem coming to console us. Sosa sees Hashem, Tagel Nafshi Be'Elokai. When we finally are able to see HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we have Yeshaya, a Navi is telling us a tremendous consolation that we have from seeing him. At the end over here in Perek Samech Gimel, at the end of this Haftarah, it mentions the idea of someone who's chamutz begadim, that Kebiyocha were drenched with blood. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu is drenched with blood because of the fact that he's going and destroying the enemy. Pur darachti levadi ume'amim eini shiti. But specifically, what's written over here is in a case in the situation that we were in absolute dire straits, not just because we were surrounded from all corners, but much more than that, because we felt alone. We didn't know where to turn. There was no one behind us. Pur darachti levadi ume'amim eini shiti. No one is with me. Ve'adrichem be'api. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes to help us. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with all his fury, comes and does vengeance against the enemy. And from there I have a geula. Incredible that the nakama, that it says here, Ki yom nakam belibi, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu does a nakama come specifically in a feeling when we really felt truly abandoned. We felt that there was nowhere to turn. But the whole time, without realizing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was privy and he was watching us in every situation, and he was preventing any assassins or anyone from carrying out any of their intentions. The more unbearable it came, all of a sudden HaKadosh Baruch Hu came to the rescue. Kebiyocho. Ve'avus amim be'api ve'eshakrem bechamati. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, as it says, he made a tremendous amount of damage on the other side and was able to take care of the enemy of us, our enemy, as a result of our feeling, like we said, in dire straits. And the Navi ends, V'yomer achami hema banim, lo yishakru v'yi lehem l'Moshiach. I will always be there to be the one that rescues him. I will always do it in a way that's nisi, somewhat miraculously, but to always come in a situation specifically when you felt like there is nowhere to turn, and therefore we are proven that Netzach Yisrael lo yishakeh, that we will always be here. And as the conclusion of this Haftarah says, B'kol tzaratam lo tzara. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in every tzara, I'm there for you. Not with a malach, not with anyone. Malach panav oshiam be'avato b'chemlato gelam. I myself will come and take you out because I love you. I have compassion for you. V'yinatalem v'yinasem kol yemei olam. All the days of the world, all consistence, not only in this instance, but always. In a situation when we feel we don't know where to turn, where to look right and left, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will always be there to be right behind us. He'll always be the one to be there, even in a time when we felt that maybe even lo aleinu, that he left us. Of course, this is relevant for our time right here. I'm speaking on Motzei Shabbat in Eretz Yisrael, where we especially have been feeling the tremendous pain, the booms and the explosions from right and from left, from north into south. But it's not just the fact that we hear all the booms. We know that it's coming from all the sides. We have ballistic missiles coming from the south. And we have to understand, these people, Hezbollah, were not just Hamas was silly putty compared to them. They were playing with Lego, tinker toys. Hamas's missiles are somewhat made of makeshift type of materials. Their missiles were very, very specified in all places in Israel. I'm sure some of us have known some of the facts. You can look it up. It's incredible. And look, it's not over. But you have to realize that they knew that they can get to any place in this whole entire country to a exact millimeter. They knew exactly. They had exact types of missiles with a tremendous amount of explosion. And this person, this guy, his name was Nasrallah, 32 years was on our back. 32 years. That's right. My daughter saw a picture of him with his gray beard and his turban, and she said, "Oh, that's a tzaddik. That's a tzaddik." Chas v'shalom. The idea is because he's been around for a long time. He's the one who started this irgun that we call Hezbollah, and he was the biggest threat that this country ever had because he's right next door, and he had an endless arsenal of what to do with it. Now, of course, it's the game's not over yet, but Al Kopanim getting him was a tremendous whop together. We got a bonus of 1+1. They got the second in command who was right next to him at the time also. the same one they missed not long ago. But the idea behind here is to see Be'avid Shayim Rina, the tremendous amount of simcha that we have, that the Kodesh Baruch Hu is here to get rid of him. As the Michtam Eliyahu brings in Chelek 446 on the idea of Be'avid Shayim Rina, he brings from the Zohar in Parshas Noach, that at the time of the Churban, the Kodesh Baruch Hu had a tremendous amount of bechi, of crying. What does bechi mean? Crying is when something is lacking, something's missing, I feel incomplete. Nothing's incomplete with Hashem, but we're in a state of imperfection. But after, this is the words of the Zohar, after HaKadosh Baruch Hu does din with the Rishayim, simcha v'tehila lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there's this tremendous amount of simcha. What's simcha? Hashem has simcha. The idea is a feeling of shleimut, of completion, of satisfaction that the world is coming to a closer place. And even though he was marich af, he let them last for a little bit of while. Eventually, he will always do behem din. What kind of din? Al sheniz davgu leYisrael le'aralehem, because they came to come against us. Anytime they come against us, then the Kodesh Baruch Hu is there to do the din, and therefore it is a zman of simcha. It's not a time to say, "Oh well, okay, just in case." You should realize this was a tremendous accomplishment, a tremendous feat to be able to put down such a big Rasha, and we see it as the heralding of the beginning footsteps of Mashiach. I'll tell you why, because in as much as there's Simcha Kodesh Baruch Hu, why? Because Hashem is being Megale Hashem, that's the first step to being Mashiach. Mashiach is not all just a one-time, so everybody's Makir Hashem. Every step that we do to be Megale HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the world, that people will realize the greatness of the Jewish people, and to realize the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the tremendous nisim that we are surrounded by in this country, left and right. You go and hear about wars in the Ukraine, Russia, and all the other places. Every missile knocks off, I don't want to say the tremendous amount of, you're talking about hundreds of people at a shot. And Chas v'Shalom, I don't want to be potech per Satan at all, but just to point out the tremendous, crazy miracles. Every time it hits a house, bullet, boom, bijuk, that person wasn't home at that time. He was out doing shopping. That's a tremendous simcha that we have at this time. And I want to just end with an incredible piece from a pasuk in Mishlei, because the pasuk in Mishlei says simcha letzaddik is on mishpat. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there's a tremendous simcha for a tzaddik when he does mishpat. And the question is asked, why when HaKadosh Baruch Hu split the sea did he have to knock off the mitzvah? He could have let us get free. We would have ran through the sea. They would have went home. They would have ran backwards. That's it. What was the necessity also to kill them? So in that, the answer is Kishem shemevarach al hara mevarach al tova. In other words, that when a person gets din on himself, even a tzaddik, he understands that it's good. Kal v'chomer when he sees it on a Rasha, and kal v'chomer more than that when he sees it on a Rasha who's a Rodef Yisrael. A Rodef is at Rotfei Metzoneim, those that chased after Yisrael. And that's what it says, Berov Geonecha, Taros Kamecha, Rav Miller used to say. What does it mean, Berov Geonecha? What's so great about the fact that Hashem killed the Mitzrayim? It's like a person steps on a fly, he steps on a little mosquito and he feels great. Berov Geonecha, it's a great Geonecha to knock off the Mitzrayim. Kilu, that's such a big accomplishment for him. But the answer, Berov Geonecha, with his greatness, means for his greatness, in order that we should be makir, should realize the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the yesod. The whole idea of ever knocking off a Rasha, of getting rid of these wicked people, is in order that we should stop and appreciate the gadlut of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That He did it for us. The only way such a thing can happen is we know by the Mitzrayim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was kovish Sarah Shalom Mitzrayim. Hashem took the Mitzri, the Sar, in Shamayim, the leader of in Shamayim, up in the skies of the Mitzrayim, and that's how we were able to get rid of the Mitzrayim. And so too, this is what happened here. We were able to be kovish the Sar of this Rashayim, and that's how he was able to do it. And that's what it says in the Pesukah. The Ikra of the Shira is Ki Go'o Ga'a Sus V'Rachma V'Raviyam. That not only did he get rid of him, but Sus V'Rachma, and he did it in a miraculous way. He was able to get him in the most strange, unusual, and abstract ways that it happened. Ki Go'o Ga'a. And that's the tremendous ge'ut, the tremendous simcha that we have, because Taros Kamecha, Berov Geonecha, and that's the simcha that we have in this time. And don't think it's by coincidence, but with this we finish with the Yalkut. Because the Yalkut says, in the time of Mashiach comes, I quote you word from word, Yeshaya Tav Tzadik Tet, Shana Shamelech Mashiach Nigla Bo, Melech Paras Midgar B'Melech Aravi. There will be a Persian king, which of course is Iran, that will make a ruckus even amongst the Arabs themselves. We know his own country can't stand him. 60% of the people want him dead. And he's the one this Russia who's in charge of Iran, he's the one who's creating the Hamas, the Hezbollah, the Teimanim. He's the one who's the source of all this Russia, all this terrorism, all this murder that's going on surrounding in this world. But at the time Mashiach comes, this person will be Midgareh b'melech Arevim v'chozer melech Paras u'machriv et kol haolam. And this melech Paras is coming to try to destroy the whole entire world. He chases after the whole entire Western world, of course, Eretz Yisrael, the Jews. V'Yisrael midbalim. And it says over there that the Jews are afraid of him. There's nowhere to turn. We have Iraq, Iran, Taiman, Lebanon, Gaza. They're coming from all sides. Where are we supposed to turn? We don't know what to do. In Syria, HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes and appeases them. It's obviously a sign that the Gula is coming. I'll take care of you. Like we read before, from the piece that we read before, based on our Haftarah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, when you're worried, I'm there to take care of you. You have nothing to worry about. Like the Gemara in Sanhedrin says, Yami lahem melech shegzerotav kashot kehaman. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to put a melech that's as hard as Haman. Haman was where? In Paras, in Persia, in the place in Iran. That's when it's the most difficult time, but that is the closest time of the Siman that Mashiach is coming. And how do we get resolved? That we saw before, when we get to a stage of going, I don't know where to turn. Should I learn right? Should I turn left? I don't know what to do. So Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky explained the Gemara in Sanhedrin. The Gemara says that Ein ben David ba, Mashiach will only come yashu mina prunit, until we give up. We don't know. Is he really coming? We don't know anymore. And he explains, what does that mean to give up? He means when he gives up and you'll stop relying on anybody else. You won't rely on any other Americas or any other countries. When you don't rely on anything else in your own, even your own people, when you rely only on the Kadosh Baruch Hu, then we have the Geula of Ben David Ba. This is the first step, Bezrat Hashem, that the Rosh Hashanah, this new year, will be an encapsulating time that we shall see the Geula b'mirabi Amenu. Amen.